Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Let's Play SimCity Buildit. This is the Iron Islands. I'm Inky Joe. I'm your mayor. Welcome to the city. Let's get started. Where I left off last time was making my way through the contest of mayors. I don't know why I was calling it the championship of mayors. I think I completely blanked what COM could possibly mean. But contest of mayors. And I was in the neighborhood league. When I left off last night, I was well into a range to be promoted, but I left off with like 2 hours of gameplay left. Once I get up to Megalopolis League, 2 hours is a lifetime. So it's totally possible somebody sniped me. I'm going to find out now if I got promoted. So let's go. I won a medium prize, so that makes me think I probably got promoted. Look at all that. I like winning stuff. I got promoted! Congratulations me! I'm going to add some sound effects. Add sound effects here. Okay, so super great. Let's see how it all shook out, and then we'll start here. So this season is the beach building season. And I've already unlocked Paradise Island. I have not placed that yet. And this week I just got the luxury beach hotel. So rock on. Here's some other buildings that hopefully I will be winning. And this luxury cruise ship. Let's see if there's information about it. Alright, well, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Of course it's gonna go, because that's the whole goal. That's the whole reason I'm doing this video series, because I'm gonna win Megalopolis. Alright, let's go over to the leaderboard and see how that worked out. Okay, so I placed in 24th place. Not bad. That seems about where I left off last night. Perfect. There are a bunch of people in the 33,000 range, and I figured if they done like 2,000 point assignments, they might knock me off, but they'd have to knock off a lot of people to bump me out of the promotion, to bump me below the promotion line. So that worked out well. 37,000, and the winner at 44,605. So as I'm scrolling through here, I'm noticing the different levels. As I advance through the ranks, I tend to notice that the Iron Islands is a level 71 city, and I tend to be grouped with other cities that are in levels 69, 70, 71, 72-ish. There's a nice tight grouping. But here in Neighborhood League, I guess it was a free-for-all, and congratulations, Bergwald. Let's take a look here. Alright, so we started off in Neighborhood League. We just got promoted to the Suburban League. Prizes get a little nicer. Oh, this is everything I just said. So take a look. Megalopolis League. Also, when you're doing the Contest of Mayors, COM, your club gets a chance to compete for a club chest. At some point, I'll do an episode about club strategy and how to win the club chest, and a few different philosophies of clubs that I've seen emerge since they introduced the club chest. Alright, so let's click it and see what we ended up getting. Alright, so 2 gold tickets, a bonsai, a purse, a shirt, and I think some sim bucks. I should have screen capped that. That's what I did last time. I don't like that it resets so quickly, because I didn't get a chance to see how I placed in the club standings. But there we go. Alright, so now here we are. I've got this little gap of time before the next Contest of Mayors starts, and I've got a day and 1 hour, and I've got to do a little bit of work. I've already started clearing out my storage. When I'm actually playing, this is probably bad strategy. I notice that I tend to keep my storage heavier than I'd like. So I'm always very close to my 500 and I should probably change my gameplay so that I have a little more wiggle room. I mean, I like having stuff because the type of assignments that I really like to do are the upgrade buildings, upgrade Omega, and epics. And so I just find it's easier to just have the stuff on hand. There are times when I like going to the trading HQ to see what's out there, or putting a request in for the club. Hey, does anybody have this thing or that thing? But it's just so much more efficient if I can knock out whatever is required for an assignment right there. But my storage was really heavy, so I've already started emptying out some things, emptying out my storage a little bit. So I'm gonna go to my trade depot. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger. And let's see what's sold so far. So one of my assignments in the last contest was make a gazillion plastics, whatever. I'm not going to use that many plastics. I got rid of them. Oh wow! So I advertised some of my items, and they sold really well. What I want to focus on in this video is how to make simoleons, because right now I'm sitting at 766,416 simoleons, and for my purposes that's super fine. That's going to get me well, because that'll get me far, but I'd like to get more. I tend to hover around 1 million. I know some mayors do burger farming, and my understanding is you can pick up a couple of million simoleons in a couple of days burger farming, but I really don't feel like that matches my style of gameplay, so I don't know. I've never investigated that. Just normal making stuff and selling stuff, that works really well for me, so I'm just gonna keep up on it. I'll head on over to my factories and get started there. Alright, so how do you make money in this game? The easiest way to make money is to make stuff and sell it. I mean, it's super not brain surgery. In general, I try to keep my shops busy and keep my factories busy. So the last time I touched this game was last night. So some of my factories aren't busy. They're sleeping. Hamburgers. I see you sleeping on the job. Let me go in and collect all of this stuff just to clear out the space, and then we'll see what we're working with. See what kind of raw materials I have available to pick up, and all that stuff. I think I'm probably good. I got some stuff at the farmer's market. Okay, awesome. All right, so to make money, because I've got a day and an hour to make a little bit of money before I have to start prepping for the contest of mayors. The first thing I want to check out right now, there are a few items that I just like to have on hand. So in addition to VU, and we'll do an episode where I talk about VU in a little more depth. One of my side goals right now is I'm totally trying to hoard hoard VU, so that when I get to Megalopolis, I need to be able to be competitive for 2 weeks. And that's just in case I don't make it the first week. I need to be able to make a run at it the second week. So I don't intend to do any sort of VU challenges or take any VU assignments in the leagues leading up to Megalopolis. Alright, so Paris bread, super cool for those upgrade Parisian residents. I don't think I need 14, so when I go to start selling stuff off, I might get rid of a few of those. Wood is just a basic ingredient that I need. Got some Japanese items here, London items. I tend to keep, I feel like 10 of each of these international items is good for me. They're fairly easy to find on the trade HQ, or just by doing airplane cargo deliveries. You can get these, but 10 works for me. Flour bags, 10 to 15. Flour bags come in really handy, and I like to have a lot on hand. Bread sometimes can be a thorn in my side. I might have an epic, and I can get 4 points if I have X number of bread, or I need it for a cargo delivery. 10, I actually feel kind of comfortable with 10, and it's a thing that I just keep in constant making rotation in my shop. So some more international parts, some concrete. I can shed some concrete. Concrete's fairly easy to find on the market. Same with fire pits. I may have had an assignment where I had to make a bunch of fire pits. Microwaves. I actually like to hang on to microwaves. They're one of those things that you don't often find in the HQ. They're great for those popcorn tasks. I'd rather have microwaves on hand than to have a bunch of popcorn on hand. I don't know why, but there's that. I can pare that down to 5 and feel comfortable though, because I've got more. Microwaves is the thing that I make often. Sugar and spice, 8, 5. This I don't worry about. It's totally easy to find on the marketplace. Mowers, I like to keep about 5 in stock. The strawberries, I think it's strawberry lemonade. That's also really easy, so I'm going to sell those off. London phone booth, I'll hang on to that. Nails, I only have 7 nails, and that's a fairly low amount. So when I start setting up my production, I'll just start with nails. I can use 10 more nails easily. Tables, totally don't need, gonna sell those off. Corn, I feel more comfortable having at least 5 in reserve, and I try to make corn. Corn is just a part of my normal farmer's market order. Beach chairs, 5 I feel comfortable with. Glass, you can get glass all day long. Same with ice cream, the minerals, pizza, these fridges, these cabinets. I like to keep 5. Cabinets are moderately easy to find for me, but they're one of those things that often come up as a requirement for a residential upgrade, and it's just easier to have them on stock. So I've got 5. I'm going to hang on to those, and I'm going to make some more. 5 to 8 I feel comfortable keeping on hand. Same with drills. 5 is fine. I don't often get calls for drills, but it's just one of those things that I don't like stopping my gameplay to go look for drills. I can just make some and keep a few here. Same with glue. Planks, I only have 5 planks. So I'll mix in, when I make those nails, I'll also make some planks, because that's just a basic I should have. Popcorn, I totally don't need that popcorn. If I get a cargo request, I can just make it, or I can look for it on the market. Watches I can find in the market. Tree saplings, 5 is fine. Tree saplings is something that I make often. It's a good dump, like when I need to make space. It takes up seeds and shovels, and I really like it to clear some space. Same with barbecue grills. They take up that utensil and a lot of metal, and they're really good. That's another good thing about microwaves, is they use a lot of ingredients, and they're good for me to just get rid of raw material and clear some space in my storage. Alright, I will start at the building supply store, and I said I was going to get some nails started. Metal. Probably should have come over here first, but I'll collect some items. I've got some electronic components, throw some more metal in. I've got some cloth, and we'll throw some metal in there. Sugar and spice, throw some seeds in there. So these were items that I set up to produce in my factories overnight. And I put a lot of my long-term items, like animal feet take 6 hours, so that's a great thing to make overnight. And I'm gonna collect as much as I can and just get the factory started with quick items like metals and wood and plastic, because I'm setting up now to get all of my shops starting production. I'll throw some minerals in there. Okay, so that's cool. Get those. All right. I have to imagine that this is absolutely riveting. And look at that, storage is full. Alright, so let's dump some of this out. Do some more nails. Okay, perfect. Let's go over to the farmer's market. I noticed that I didn't have any seeds in stock, because what I do is probably make myself some flour bags. So I'll come back to this. I'll wait till those seeds come out. Make a few hammers, since I don't have any hammers. Let's see, I'll pick up these chemicals and use some more metal in the mix. Metal, and I think I'm out of, oh, I've got some wood. Okay, great. What am I doing on measuring tapes in? I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. I'll throw, looks like I've got enough to do 2 shovels. I'll collect some more stuff. I'm gonna keep that metal in production there. So what I might do, well, I might make an edit right here, because I, again, don't think this is terribly interesting. What you can do is down in the comments below, let me know if you actually want to see this sort of stuff. One of my beta viewers was like, no, that's the whole appeal. People want to watch you actually play the game. I was like, alright, but some of the stuff seems kind of boring to me. Well, let me take that back. It's not boring to me. Like, I totally dig this. This is what I do for my city. So maybe I'll just keep it going. And we'll see how long it takes to edit the whole video together. And let me know in the comments, like, dude, your videos are like super long, or your videos aren't long enough. Give us hours of gameplay. We'll see what we can do to accommodate. I'll start a few donuts. Donuts I don't necessarily need, but they fetch a good price in the depot. And I'm also working on some mayor achievements. We'll go take a look at my town hall, I think that's what it's called, where there are certain achievements, and once you reach them, you can get some sim cash for them. So I think, and these are low-level goals. I think donuts, like becoming a master baker, is one of the goals. Making business suits is a goal, and I think making TVs is a goal. Let's see what I got here. Or maybe it's couches, I don't remember. Okay, I have no hammer, so that's going to limit what I can make there. Let me go back here for a minute. So because this is an off day, I'm not in the contest, I don't mind sticking long make times. I don't know how to describe that. So couches, they take 2 hours. Normally I wouldn't make couches. You can buy them very easily on the market. But because I've got time and I'm just trying to get these factories up and these shops up and running, whatever raw material I have is what I'm going to throw in there. Let's see if I have any suits. Okay, So I've run out of. Perfect. Let's see, I'll make a hamburger here. Hamburgers always get you a nice amount of money on the global trade HQ. And I cleared out a good amount of space there. So let me pick these up and get some more seeds going. And then in a bit, I'm gonna go look for cloth, so that I can get my fashion store up and running. What I'm gonna put in that fashion store are a few business suits and a few backpacks. Backpacks is one of my go-to cloth-based items. I know some players, some mayors will keep like spreadsheets of their production and output and profits and losses. The Iron Islands, we just make stuff. And I know that I'm making stuff because I make money. So I don't actually keep ledgers on how much I make. I can if that's something that people are interested in seeing. But it's not a thing that I do regularly. Because I got a good head. I can remember this stuff. So typically, you want to save your speed up token. So I've got 7 bronze. That'll speed your stuff up times 2. And then 6 silver, so that's times 4. And 10 gold, which is times 12. I have no reason at all to use gold right now. Bronze and silver, I've got a good amount that are just floating on top of epic buildings, so I can replenish those.
Chubby Wool.
Chubby Wool to you too. I wish I understood Simlish. Like, I know a few phrases, but I don't know what they mean. I got one guy who's like, "Oh, sea webs." I don't know what that means. And then we'll do an episode where we just talk to some of my advisors in their beautiful Simlish language. Okay, so there's that. While I'm waiting on in particular those seeds to come up, I'm gonna take a look at the cargo planes and see what I've got waiting. Teapots. I don't really need a teapot, so I'm not interested in this. The Happy Cat. This plane is going to leave in 4 hours, 26 minutes. Let me see, how many Happy Cats do I have? I've got 11. That's a fair number. Sometimes I run low on the cats and the lanterns. And I think I was pretty cool on purses. Check that. I guess if I did keep ledgers, I wouldn't have to do this all the time. But whatever. Alright, so I got nothing there. I don't have any cargo ships waiting. So I'm just going to go and start loading some of the stuff up. Okay, so back on that theme of making simoleons for your city. I feel like these concepts work no matter what level you're at. And it's just a simple concept. It's make stuff and sell stuff. If I were to add another caveat onto that, sell it at max price. That's my philosophy. Sometimes I notice that there are mayors who will sell some things at like super low prices, and I don't see the point of that, because somebody will pay full price, so why not just sell it at full price? When I sell stuff, I try to sell finished goods. It's hard to justify selling raw material when I can turn it into something else and get a higher price for it. So like all of those, the fruits and melons, yeah, I've got 11, but I can go back and make some smoothies or some yogurt and cheesecake and get slightly more money out of it. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, these fire pits, they got to go. Okay, I'm going to advertise the fire pits. I don't imagine somebody's really out there like, oh my gosh, I need 5 fire pits. There could be somebody out there, but having that advertised might draw people to my trade depot, and they'll buy something else and leave the fire pits, and I still get that advertisement going on. Let's see, get rid of these lawnmowers because we'll make more. The fire pits, the lawnmower, and I think the concrete, those are produce and collect assignments that I get fairly often in COM. So sometimes at the end I'll end up with far more of those items than I'd ever want to keep. Some items are better at making money, like they're just a better value to get rid of. For example, I think nails is one of the best things to sell because the raw materials needed are metal, which take like a minute, I think, I don't know, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember this. Metal takes no time to make, and nails take next to no time to make. And you can make a lot of nails and sell them at 400 simoleons per 5. So if you're a lower level city, just make a lot of nails and you can rack up some cash. As you start moving up the ranks, you're going to find the things that you can make and sell will change. I think that at some levels, chairs, just start making and selling a lot of chairs because they're fairly easy. It's a nail, a wood, and a hammer, all things that you can make very easily. Some things are a little more complex to make, but what I get in return as far as simoleons makes it worthwhile. So see how I'm not going to sell these bread rolls because I can use those to make hamburgers. I guess that is a form of hamburger farming. Hamburgers for me is a great way to get rid of some extra ingredients, or to get rid of things in my storage, and the resale value is pretty high. So peace out, some burger farmer can buy those. We've cut the storage down. I'm going to get rid of these tables. We've cut the storage down to like 450, so that's good. Tables require planks, and planks are fairly valuable. I find that their value really comes in for cargo deliveries. Sometimes I'll get a cargo delivery that's like, give us 17 planks. And there are a few things that are worse than needing 17 planks and only having 2 in stock. So aside from the cabinets, and ladders, I don't spend a lot of valuable planks making tables. Get rid of these couches. We don't need those. And let's see. I thought I saw. I'm gonna hang on to these tree saplings because I might make some more melons. After I get all of my flower bags set up, I might make some melons. Alright. And then you can see my land and storage and beach and mountain is all expanded out, but I do have a few oddball expansion parts in here. I'm gonna hang on to those for now, and I'll show you in one of the upcoming episodes. I'll show you why I hang on to those parts. Alright, so we're good here. So here's the thing about putting things on sale. I've got a few things that are advertised. This is advertised. If you let's talk about this $1 red button here. So say I had something, I don't know, I don't really understand what scenario you would use this in, and it's a fairly convoluted scenario. Maybe you had a trade depot that was not expanded out, like you only had 4 slots or something, and you had something listed, but then your storage got full and you needed the space. This is very convoluted, and I really don't understand why anybody would do this, but I can cancel a trade for 1 sim cash. What happens when I hit that is, if I were to hit it here, these 5 tables, they would disappear. I would get this slot open again so I could advertise up to 5 new things. But those 5 tables don't go back into my stock. They just disappear. Poof. They're gone. And I paid $1 for that. So I don't exactly understand why anybody would do that. But if you were ever curious, don't do it. You're going to pay $1 to lose 5 tables. To like no benefit to you. Or to very little benefit to you. The only benefit you're going to get is suddenly this trade slot would be open again. Okay, something else that I want to talk about while I'm here is you'll notice that I've got a lot of trade slots. I ran into some cash early in the game, and so for 10 SimBucks I could expand this out. What I find this useful for my particular style is I produce a lot of product, and so rather than juggle stuff in my own storage, it's much easier to just throw stuff up here. Because I work with a club, say I needed these 4 couches, sometimes I can ask my club member, like, hey, can you go and buy those 4 couches from me and sell them back to me? That's kind of the advanced club strategy that if you have interest in hearing more club stuff, maybe we can do a special clubs episode. But I find that this helps me manage my storage because now I have a place to put that extra stuff. It really comes in handy for me when I get like produce and collect 60 electronic components or produce and collect 60 plastics. I have no desire to keep that in my storage, so I can offload that stuff very quickly and have it here and not worry about, oh, I only have 4 trade slots. I got a gazillion trade slots. Going back to my club, once the contest of mayor starts, the COM, what I like to do is try to load up that depot with things that are useful. So that's going to be backpacks. I might put those bread rolls in there, ladders, things that you tend to need for your assignments that are just hard to find on the open market. Again, the city is not aesthetic. I just haven't, that's not a thing that I'm interested in right now. What's my goal? My goal is to win those 4,000 Sim Cash in Megalopolis. So everything that I have is geared towards that. On my wish list, I can tell you a couple of things that are on my wish list, like all of these power stations. I would totally like to swap those out for Omega. I'd like to swap out all of these utilities for Omega because it's just such a smaller footprint. I think this is an Omega water tower. Okay, so that's an Omega water tower compared to, is that a water plant right there? Okay, well that's a sewage treatment plant. Let's see what we got here. Okay, well, so that's a good, so you can see how the deluxe sewage treatment plant takes up, how would we call that, like 3x2, whereas the Omega is only 2x2. So I essentially reclaim some land that way. Oh, is this a water treatment plant? Let's check it out. Okay, so the water pumping station is another 3x2, whereas the Omega station is 1x1, and it takes care of like 100. Let's see if I can open this up. Okay, so Omega, that'll take care of 100 residents, whereas the Deluxe only takes care of 55 residents. So I'm hoping to swap out all of my utilities eventually for Omega utilities. Same thing with sewage, 55 versus 100. It's just like such a good deal. But by the same token, Omega it's hard. These Omega utilities get expensive after a while. So we're looking at 100 for the Omegas versus 70 for the traditional utilities. I'm going to go back to the power. We started with water. Let's go back to power. Alright, so that'll take care of 75 residents. And if I can find an Omega power station, that'll take care of 100 with no pollution. I think I'm at the point where I've gotten rid of a lot of my big polluters. I might I don't know if I've upgraded all of these factories. Let's see. Get some more seeds going. And let me take a look at my... Yeah, I just needed the 5 slots. A high-tech factory works just as well as a polluting factory. The green ones are called nanotech factories. Yeah. So those are all green. And these are all polluters. And I have not upgraded those because nobody lives back there, and I don't care. Wahahaha. Alright. While I'm over here, I'll take a look at my Omega canisters. Let's look at the best way to spin this around. So, produce and collect Omega canisters is another COM assignment that I like. I have maxed out my Omega production here, so I've got 2, 4, 6 of the labs. I'll touch this one. Collect that one there. Okay, so I've got 6 of these Omega labs, which I believe is the max that you can have. And then I've got, let's get out of here. All right, and then I've got 1 research center, and all 4 of the slots are open. So what I try to do now, first let me collect this and see what I got. Then I'm going to start baking that other 8-hour canister. Alright, so this is an 8-hour canister, which I don't want to have floating once COM starts. Ideally, what I'll end up with is 6 1-hour canisters, even 3-hour canisters I can deal with. But those 2 right there I'm going to collect. And hopefully, when I pay my 7,000 simoleons to get some new ones, they will regenerate as 1-hour canisters. This is all totally random. Some people get really frustrated at that. Like, oh, I just got to produce and collect 18 canisters, and I got 18 8-hour canisters. Just, you have to do a little bit of planning. And the planning is cull all of these longer ones. In fact, I can just go on and do that now, because I've got a day. So that's more than enough time to get that other 8-hour canister going. Alright, so we'll check on that next episode and see where we are. Alright, I'm going to come back over here, pick up those seeds, because I really want to get some flower bags started. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'll go get some cloth in a second. Let's go see if we can find some cloth, then come back and get the flower bag started and move on in our day. So we'll get some cloth. Oh, look at that. Well, thank you. Alright, so let's go back to my city. So what I'm doing now, this is just city maintenance. Just getting things set up, because it's the work week for me now. So I need the city to be fairly autopilot. I don't have time to babysit it too much. I'm getting all of these things set up, and then I'll probably come back just before I go to sleep for the night and put some of my longer term builds in. So I'll make some drills or some ladders and have those going overnight. It'll take some time right now to collect all of my materials here. I've filled up my trade depot again. Now let's get some stuff going. So we're gonna make some flour bags. I feel like you can never have too many of these on hand. I've never found myself angry that I've got so many flour bags. Veggies, I'm not gonna make veggies. What I did notice that I was low on meat, so I'm just gonna go in and set this up for tonight. I'm good on cream. Corn I can work on tomorrow during the day. Same with cheese. So I've got 25 bags of animal feed. I've got 16 bags now. I will use the rest of this to make more of this beef overnight. And then I'll have that ready for me once COM starts. Alright, so now, zoom it in a little bit. And, wander around the city. This is my Omega City. And my Omega City is at various stages of development because I messed up. I accidentally I sold off one of my control nets because I was trying to do some tricky financial refinancing of things so I could get something Omega-y, and it backfired. And so for a couple of weeks I just had this big hole of abandoned Omegas, and then one of my club mates was like, dude, fix your Omegas, because when you're doing COM you want to make sure you're only focused on COM. Like, nobody's got time to be trying to compensate for a crippled Omega. And so then I fixed it, and my gameplay was so much better, and I regret that I let so many weeks go by with that broken Omega. Whatever. Okay. So we're just going on a tour. We're going to find some place nice and happy and plant for a little bit. While I while I do something, I forgot whatever it was I was going to do. But this video is probably getting fairly long anyway, so I think I've gone over the basics of what I wanted to do, which was update how my COM ranking turned out from last week. It was a success. I showed you a little bit about the club chest. Earlier I'd mentioned that each mayor has these, what is this, City Hall? Okay. Right now, my Sims, they're paying 20% tax because they're relatively happy. They're like 94% happy. The 6% of non-happiness is because they don't have waste management and the roads are bad. But they can deal for a little while longer. He doesn't know because I probably stored all of the education buildings so I could replace them with some other type of building for an epic contest, and my residents could be upset about that too. Here, is it? Let me go to my mayor's house. Maybe this is the thing I'm looking for. Perfect. City achievements. So these are all of the achievements that I've already achieved. And as I scroll through here, we'll get to the last few achievements that I'm working on right now. Okay, so provide cultural services to 175 residential zones with landmarks. Master Captain, complete 1,000 cargo shipments. So I've got a little over 200 left to do, like 224. And more importantly, to see these rewards, like 30 sim cash. I'm all about 30 sim cash. Lunatic Scientist, Unleash 50 Disasters. So even after I achieved that 2nd star, it looks like I still have some room to grow on that achievement. Alright, Social City. Have 7 friends. I have 4 of 7. And these are friends that are connected through Facebook. This might also count for friends connected through Game Center. I don't know, because I'm not on Game Center. Good listener. This is popping all of those opinion bubbles in your own city and when you go to visit other cities. Couch potatoes. So, produce TVs. There's usually very little reason to produce TVs, except I'm trying to win that $30. So I'll make some TVs, whatever. Same with business suits and donuts and vegetables and wood. Have 30 friends and metal. So I still have a few achievements to achieve. But I think that's pretty good for one day. Looks like it's nighttime in the city now. And that seems like a good place to call it a day. I'm gonna, after I finish this video, I'll come back and collect all of those raw materials, get the rest of my shops started on production. And then we're just trying to get set for the next level of Contest of Mayors, and on our goal to Megalopolis and the 4,000 Sim Cash. So take a look at the comment section if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you've seen that you want to see more of in the video. By all means, leave a comment. You can also subscribe. That way you'll be notified whenever a new video comes up. Right now I'm hoping to have the next video up on Wednesday. That'll be the day after COM starts. We'll see what kind of assignments we have, what kind of competition we're looking at, and formulate my strategy for this upcoming week. So until then, this is the Iron Islands. We are out, and I'll see you next time.